More about gel coat.
When the fourth round would...
Don't you call in the... More importantly, he knew what he was talking about.
Does it look good already? Oh. Jumbo Scampi for limited.
All for a price that will make you...
You're listening to People for People Radio, the voice of truth in Scotland.
Hi folks, welcome to People for People Radio, and thanks for joining us, and for anybody listening to Wolf Spirit Radio as well. We're now on the 13th of November, no long to Christmas. For all the folk out there that have got loads of wains that they've got to buy presents for and things like that. Anyway, just on a cheery note, we'd like to welcome everybody that's on the show so far. It's Charles, Joan, Mark, Neutrons, Rob, Solarised Bry, myself, Tom and Troy. A few weeks ago, Brian was on with myself and Joan, and he was saying about how he was on his way to being evicted because the landlord was selling up the property or whatever. But Bry's got some good news to share with the people, because it's only right if we share the bad stuff that we also share the good stuff that gets done in for you. Bri, do you want to come on and tell the people what happened from the last show when you were going to get evicted?
Hi people, I've actually got great news. I hope to raise some spirits this evening with this news. But as you know, I've been threatened with eviction for over a year now. All the council have to offer me and my family is a bed and breakfast. There's no allegedly there's no accommodation, there's no stock there for anyone. In the summer I got told that there's 200 families in bed and breakfasts in Edinburgh. So that's like 200 families in front of me to get a temporary accommodation house. I just found out last week that number's now been reduced to 60. So there's still 60 families in bed and breakfasts in Edinburgh at this moment in time. So I just refuse point blank to go into a bed and breakfast. It's just not happening. Because I've got children for a start, and I've got two dogs. The dogs are a very particular breed. They're Ikeas, so they're very, very independent dogs. They'll only obey one master, and they're threatening to put them in the pound if, like, I go into a bed and breakfast, and, like, I'd never get the same two dogs back. Because of the breed, I would end up with dangerous dogs. So I went to my counsellor last week, and a counsellor who I've been dealing with for maybe about 6 months now, because I'm having issues with social services, and she's pursuing that for me. So I've got quite a good relationship with this counsellor, and she's been knowing I've been getting evicted for long enough. I sent her a text the day the possession order was valid. I sent her a text, and I was like, look, I'm standing my ground, I'm not moving until I've got somewhere to move into. I need somewhere to live, no a bed for the night. And in the text I was like, I'm making a stance, and I'm making this stance for every family that's in a bed and breakfast and every individual that's sitting on the street, homeless. So she's had that text, and then I've been seeing her a few days later at her open surgery last week, and I basically tell her the same thing. I was like, I am not moving until I've got somewhere to move into. A bed and breakfast it's a horror story. And I told her exactly what I've just explained to you guys, and then I left. Within 24 hours, literally 24 hours to the hour, I have the council on the phone saying that they've got keys for a 3-bedroom property for me. So, but wait a minute, I missed a bit out, because what I'd said to the councillor, I was like, when the sheriff officers come to the door, I was like, they can't use force and they can't use violence. So I'll just be chasing them away. They won't even get in my stair, never mind, like, in the door. and the police can't get involved. They've got to be impartial. They're just there to keep the peace, make sure there is no violence or any damage. So she knew my position, and basically I'm in Pilton, which is like the roughest part of Edinburgh. It's where Irving Welsh wrote Trainspotting. It's a really, really rough part of Edinburgh. So she must have went away and thought about what I said, and they must have got a bit of a fright. Because if you think about it, if I was to pull that off in the middle of Pilton, and everybody's seen it, well, what, you can chase the sheriff officers away, and like, the police can't get involved, then nobody'd be leaving the house, nobody would be getting evicted. Everybody would just be sitting put, which is what people should be doing. So I think that's maybe what's frightened them as well, because of the area that I'm in, and it would have been, it would have spread like wildfire. So, 24 hours later, she's phoned me up with the keys to the house. So that's my good news. But like, I just want people need to start doing the same thing.
So do you think that was the councillor's intervention then, Mark?
Say that again?
Sorry. Do you think that was the councillor?
I think it was the councillor, aye.
Intervention that got the council to rehouse you in 24 hours.
I think it was, aye. Because basically I'd been going to see my homeless officer sort of that very week, and she had said to me, she was like, look, you can come in here every day. You're only going to get offered a bed and breakfast, like every day.
So that gives people some hope, Brian, that the councillors are actually trying to do something to help the people, instead of just sitting in their backsides doing nothing and getting paid.
Exactly, aye.
Because unlike what you believe that the police can't get involved in an eviction, every eviction we've been to, the police have stood by and got involved and acted and helped the sheriff officers to evict. So 36 police came to my house to evict us. So the police do get involved even though they're not supposed to. So that doesn't help the council.
They do step out, they do sort of, they all back each other up.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree with you there, like, but it's just, and I went to collect the keys, I got told to collect the keys the next day. I went to see my homeless officer, I went in, took a ticket for the machine, and I'm sitting there for 30 minutes waiting on my number getting called. Then my number gets called, and I get told, homeless officer will see you shortly, so I'm sitting there for another half hour, and then I get told, she's away on her lunch. And I'm like, what? So guys, she's away for her lunch. I didn't think she wanted to see me. I didn't think she wanted to see a face that had a told you so written all over it, because I wasn't moving into a bed and breakfast.
No,
that wasn't happening. And like, there's one just down the road from me, it's called Muirhouse Mansion, and it's on a long dark road on the way down to Cramond, and there's no buses, you can't get a bus there. You've got to walk down this big long road, and there's over 100 sort of people or families in this building, and it's basically, it's all your low life, it's all drug users, basically a jail environment. You've got people like doing drug deals in the corridor, you've got people shooting up in the bushes. It's just a nice environment for kids at all, and they've got families in this environment. And I just found out recently as well that somebody actually killed herself in this Muirhouse Mansion because they just couldn't deal with it, eh?
Yeah.
It's
that's absolutely brilliant, Brian, that you've managed to get accommodation, because it's like I said 2 weeks ago, or we were talking about it, me, you and Joan were on the show and we were talking about it. That's the problem when you're renting private. The good thing is you choose to live where you want to live if you rent private, but the downside of that is that the landlord can take the property back at any time. So people in private rents, they should only be doing that short term. Because short-term secure tenancies, I think they're called.
Yeah, something like that.
Secure, well, that's
it. You can't exactly call them secure, eh?
No, they're not secure.
But I've kind of been thinking about it, right? Because, like, I've been trying to search for another private accommodation to move into, right? And I can't find any rent that's affordable in Edinburgh, private accommodation to move into. So the way I see it is they're basically, I reckon in about 20 years, like my grandkids aren't going to be able to afford to live in Edinburgh. Everybody's getting pushed out to the outskirts. So it's only got to be the rich that can live in Edinburgh, or people that own their properties. All the rest of us are slowly getting pushed out. It's like it's social cleansing, isn't it? They're just sort of manoeuvring everybody about. They want certain people in certain areas, and they want all the money in certain areas, and everybody else will be pushed out away from where the money is.
Yeah. Well, Bri, did you send an email to the councillor to say I got accommodation in 24 hours, thanks very much for your input?
I did. I sent her a text message,
because we're awful fast to criticise them for no doing their job and no doing what they should be doing. So it's always nice when they do something and they get the job sorted, that we give them credit for where credit's due.
Aye, exactly. I mean, I need to buy her a bouquet of flowers or something like...
I mean, to that extent, she's getting paid for doing the job she does.
I know that, but it's just how I feel. I really appreciate the effort that she's put in, and like they're like hen's teeth fuses these days, eh? They're like so hard to find. And I'm proud of myself, honestly. When I got that phone call for the council, like the sense of pride that I had was like I've never felt so proud of myself in a very, very long time.
I know,
just sitting there, know what I mean? Just by sitting there. Because I had last week, as I said on the show, I had all my stuff was all packed. It's all in boxes, so I'm packing all my stuff up. Everything's in boxes, right? Ready to move, and I've got nowhere to put it, and I've got nowhere to go.
Have you moved into the house yet, Bri?
No, yet. No, I'm going to move in at the weekend.
Good on you.
But, like,
don't move on a Saturday. Don't move on a Saturday. Don't move on a Saturday.
Don't move on a Saturday.
No, Saturday flit's a short sit.
Saturday's what?
Saturday flit is a short sit.
It's a short fit. Explain that.
Well, you'll not be there long. It's bad luck. I'm a bit superstitious, so...
Right, okay.
Saturday's flit is a short sit, so move in on Sunday or move in on Friday, but don't move in on Saturday.
Right, okay. Right. Well, I can't go ignoring that then, can I?
No.
Brian, I am just absolutely delighted for you, having heard your plight. I mean, you've been in communication before, you know, so to have heard what you were going through and to hear that you've got a house, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm so pleased for you. Great.
I mean, it is amazing, like, I can't believe, like, that it just happened like that, eh?
No, fantastic, pal, fantastic.
But aye, that's just, and that's what the homeless officers, because my homeless officer disappeared and she's not coming back, so I didn't have a homeless officer. I was dealing with duty officers, and I kept telling them, look, I'm dealing with the councillor, I'm pointing out all these temporary accommodation properties that you've had empty for months, and they're saying, well, that's great, we want more of that. Everybody should be lobbying their MP and telling them, like, the situation.
That's what
they're in. But realistically, the homeless officers should be doing it as well, because they've got a bird's eye view of the whole situation, and they know how bad the situation is. So realistically, they should be lobbying the MPs as well to say, look, there's 200 families in Edinburgh on bed and breakfast. Like, that's not on. It's like I'm like being asked to. I was asked, they want to put all my stuff in storage and like pack a backpack, Bri, and there's a bed and breakfast. Like, this is my city, and I'm being asked to live like a refugee in my own city. And I'm not the only one. I mean, I was speaking to somebody earlier on today who's got a friend who's in homeless bed and breakfast, and she's been there for 2 years. So imagine being in a bed and breakfast for 2 years.
That's disgusting.
That's just madness. And like, you've got a curfew and stuff, you've got to be out at a certain time of the day so they can come in and clean the room. You've basically just got a bed for the night and breakfast. You've not got anywhere to stay.
And that's no any stability for children.
No, at all, not.
No, but at least now, Bri, you know you've got social housing. You're not going to be asked to leave that property unless you don't pay your rent.
Exactly, aye.
What you have to do now is make sure that any allowances that you're entitled to, you get them put in place, and if there's a shortfall in the rent for any reason, you go and make sure you get a discretionary housing payment to top up because you don't have enough income. There you are, my niece is telling you she's been waiting in the house for 3 years, and she took that as a temporary accommodation against her. My sister told her not to take it, but she didn't listen. They conned her into taking it and told her she'd be there for a few months, and she's still there 3 years later.
Aye, well, that's what I felt. I felt like I was being pushed into a trap.
Oh, that's what they do.
Because first of all, I was getting told, there's 200 families in bed and breakfast. So that's 200 in front of me, right? But then I have friends and family. I could sleep on a different couch each night of the week.
No, you can't, because that's no good for children.
I know that, but I mean, the children could have been with, like, my mum and stuff, right? But that was my what I was saying to the council, was like, because I wasn't want to go into a bed and breakfast. I came up with the idea to stay with friends and family, and their answer to that was, well, that means everybody in a bed and breakfast entitled to a home before you, and so is everybody that moves into a bed and breakfast while you're with friends and family entitled to a home before you. Mm-hmm. So basically, like, you can only get a house. To get a house, you've got to go into a bed and breakfast. They were telling me you've got to go into a bed and breakfast to get on the queue for a house.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, Brian, are you close to the children's schools?
That's the thing. I'm about 10 miles from the school, eh?
Right.
That's the only thing.
Is it still manageable for you?
It's still manageable, aye.
Right, that's good.
I mean, Edinburgh's no really, it's not really a big city. It's like a big village, Edinburgh, eh? Mm-hmm. It's not a big city, like. So you can kind of get from one end to the city in no much time at all, eh? Mm-hmm. Unless you're trapped in rush hour, eh? Then you're gridlocked, eh? But whatever part of Edinburgh that you're in, you could basically be in the centre of the town within 15-20 minutes on a bus. So, but I'm the other side of town. That's the thing. I've got to get to town and then get to the other side of town for the school, eh?
Yeah, but it's manageable.
It's manageable, aye. It's a lot more. It's a lot better than being in a bed and breakfast. I mean, that's just a horror story, eh? It really is.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You would have gone into a bed and breakfast, and goodness knows how long you would have had to live that life. And like you say, it's no a life. It's no somewhere to live. You're chucked out in the morning. I've actually worked with families that have been in bed and breakfast. They're thrown out in the morning. They're only allowed to come back at a certain time of night. It's not a home, you know. And we're coming into winter, so to have been going through that for you, where were you going to go all day, you know?
Exactly.
So I'm absolutely delighted for you. And here's hoping that other people will take some hope for this and keep pressing their councillors and keep pressing their MPs.
Well, that's it. You've basically, people need to they need to know their rights. If you didn't know your rights, you've not got any. They just walk all over you, eh? And that's what I've done. I've just sort of exercised my right the whole time and just stayed where I am. And I got a good result of that.
Excellent. Brilliant. I'm glad to hear it, Brian.
I'm glad to tell you. Honestly,
thanks for coming on and sharing it, because it's important to share the good stuff as well as the bad stuff.
Yep.
You know,
exactly.
And when a councillor does get up off their backside and do the job that they're supposed to be doing and working for the people, then it's always good to share that and give them credit where credit's due. Because there's too many of them don't do a damn thing.
There's no many people that put the effort in that they should be, eh?
Aye. So, thanks for coming on, Brian. You okay if we just kind of cut you off now? We're going to try and
no worries, guys. Everybody have a good evening.
And hopefully I'll share some more stuff with you on the show just now, alright?
Right, perfect. Right, speak soon, guys. Right.
Cheers, Brian.
Right, bye.
Well, people, that's Brian's case. He came on a couple of weeks ago. He was talking to Joan and I about how he was going to become homeless. We had a good chat about, you know, go to your councillor, your MP, knocking on their doors. He had been knocking on their doors, but they just didn't seem to be listening, but they seemed to listen back then. Don't know why, but it doesn't matter why. The fact is, he's been given accommodation. The other thing I wanted to talk about tonight, and one of our pals is going to come on and talk about his, is DWP. DWP are sending out letters to people who are long-term ill, shouldn't be getting sent for assessments, but they're assessing them back and forward, non-stop. One of my family members got a letter last week, and again, the councillors that we've got and the MPs that we've got in Cardonald are really good anyway, and she went up to Chris Stevens' office, and within half a day, she got a result, and the councillor or the MP got it sorted, and she's no longer to go for an assessment. These DWP, I just think that the only reason, or the only logical reason in my mind that I can think why they keep sending people for the same assessments over and over and over is because they're getting paid for every assessment they do. Now, somebody's coming on soon to talk about that same issue because he also got the same thing. Nicola Sturgeon told everybody years ago, or a few years ago, that there would, people with chronic illnesses would not be getting assessed. These assessments are still taking place. Nicola Sturgeon is still paying these people, or does the UK government pay them? I don't know, but I don't care if it comes out of the UK budget, the Scottish budget, or what budget it comes out of. The fact of the matter is the taxpayer are paying these people for doing assessments unnecessarily.
Theresa, they're on a between a 25 and 35 grand salary, these people, and that's before we talk about bonuses for reaching their targets.
It's disgusting, Joan. Now, that's taxpayers' money getting wasted. Now, my sister, she had got a letter just a few months ago to go for an assessment again. She's got three different chronic illnesses, right? She'd be signed off by the same mob 10 years ago and told she wouldn't work again. And that was because the company, the employer, hired them to say she was unfit for work, but she was unfit for work, so know that they made it up. But now the DWP feel that they've got the right to keep pulling her up and pulling her up and pulling her up for assessments. The only purpose to doing that is because they're making money every time they do an assessment, and nobody's holding them to account. You know, if you go for an assessment and you win your appeal, because that's what always happens, you go for the assessment, they say you're fit to work, you go for appeal, you win your appeal. As soon as you win your appeal, the person who signed you off should be charged. They should be charged, and they should be made to pay back all the money they got for signing you off in the first place. That would put a stop to these fictitious assessments.
And they should be held liable for all the stress and harm that they've caused people as well.
Yep.
I have a friend who, she phoned me the other day to say that she bumped into her friend who has been receiving incapacity benefits, I think, for a good number of years. She's got chronic illnesses, and they turned up to assess her without having notified her and have now taken all her benefits away from her.
I think that's disgusting. Nobody's entitled to turn to your door, Joan. Anybody that turns up to your door is supposed to give you notification, and you can refuse them entry. The electricity man's not even allowed to read your meter without giving you permission, because what can happen is if they come to your door and they alert the neighbourhood that you're no in, that could cause somebody to break into your house. Anybody that comes to your door is supposed to notify you. They're not supposed to just turn up, so she shouldn't have let them in.
I passed that on through my friend, and she was saying that what they're claiming is that they had sent a notification, but she hadn't had any notification, and they've now taken away her benefits. She's getting nothing, no money at all. And she's got 3 sons, all of whom are autistic. So she's really, really struggling at the moment. I said I'd have a look at her paperwork and see if I can help her with that, you know, for her appeal. But that's the kind of thing that's going on, Theresa. They're desperate
in the country, Joan. One of my family members has got illnesses as well, and he got refused his benefits and then got a backdated lump sum, and other people that were in the same boat got backdated lump sums, and then what happens is they've got all this money and they take their own lives because they take too much drink, too much drugs, too much whatever, because they've got big amounts of money that they wouldn't ordinarily have had if they hadn't got lump sum payments backdated.
No, they would have been budgeting on a weekly basis.
Yes. Yeah, but they're getting handed thousands of pounds. No disrespect to anybody who's got an alcohol problem or a drug problem or anything like it. But again, you're taking these vulnerable people, giving them thousands of pounds after depriving them for months. You then give them thousands of pounds, and guess what? You know, one of the people that I know had 2 clients that she lost due to drug, and they got lump sums of money backdated and took too much drugs and killed themselves.
Well, again, if they'd been without money, their tolerance levels, and we see this quite often, their tolerance levels wouldn't be the same. So if they went back to taking what they were taking in the first place, they would be overdosing.
Definitely. I'm just going to say this message to Christine because she's listening and she's online now. Christine, go up to Chris Stevens' office. He's up at the halfway just round the corner from where your house is, and him and his office will sort it out for you. Anything to do with DWP. They're absolutely brilliant in that office. There used to be Pam that was there, but she's not there anymore. But I think there's a young guy that's doing it, and he's apparently good as well. But we're fortunate in Cardonald area because Chris Stevens really does do his job, and the people that he's got working are doing their best to help the people. Do you know what I mean?
That's fantastic that you've got somebody like that, because a lot of them...
Half a day they sorted the other person's issue, half a day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So they don't faff about, they don't mess about, they just get in there, they get the job done, and that's you off, they've dealt with you, they've sorted you, they don't need to keep back and forward, do you know what I mean? But they're really, really good. And I've not found a problem with it after to them, Joan. That's how I started to tell everybody, get knocking on your MP's door, your MSP, your MP, your MP and your councillor. You've got 3 people that get 3 salaries, they're all picking up a wage to work for the people, to get them up off their backsides working for the people. We have got good people in the office that I deal with, you know. Mm-hmm. And anybody I've sent them to them has never had a problem. I've not heard anybody say to me, Theresa, they were rubbish, they never done this, they never done that. Every single person I've sent to them, Christine, they have sorted no problem. So just tell them I've sent you up.
Probably because I've mentioned your name, Theresa.
No, but it's not even that. They get for people I've no sent. I just get good reports for them all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
It's great that you've got that, though, because a lot of them maybe wouldn't take that. In fact, I'll say to this lady, get on to your MP, your councillor, and your MSP, because it's important that she's got people behind her. See, Graham's put in the Atos, Capital, Maximus, that's the 3 that kind of run the UK ones, have had their funding quadrupled in the last 4 years to 800 million. How many people would that have kept off the streets?
Millions of them. I mean, there was an article in the newspaper during the week there saying that these benefit cuts, they were telling them to get it sorted because the benefit cuts weren't doing what they were desired to do, you know. Mm-hmm. I think the money they're paying them would be cheaper paying the people. Then the people would have money to spend in the shops and all the rest of it, so you kickstart the economy, you know, so it has a kind of spiralling effect.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have the same pressure on the health service because people are stressed and depressed and, pardon me, gone through mental illnesses. Graham's put a site in there, that is a really good site. I used that when I was helping my friend with her claim. And we keep saying benefits, it's no benefits, it's entitlements.
Entitlements.
You know, this is all part of the agenda that they've got us convinced, and it's part of that divide agenda too, that everything gets blamed on the people on benefits and it's all their fault. Nuts, no. The welfare system could easily be paid for if these rich people were paying their taxes, if Amazon was paying its taxes, if Boots was paying its taxes.
Starbucks,
these companies got off of it, but you or I try and do that.
You'd be jailed for fraud. You'd be jailed.
Yeah.
But they can do what they like, but it's our fault, Joan, because we're letting them do it. You know?
You're right, and
it's
we're
our
letting
fault.
them... Yeah.
I was speaking to one of my friends yesterday, Joan, and she said there was something like 600,000 people were on a march, and this was something to do with the independence. 600,000 people on a march. Where's these 600,000 people if they stood together and got the DWP and the government to get up off their backsides and do the job that the people are paying them to do. That is look after the people, not to line the pockets of the financial investors. But what they're doing is they're lining the pockets of the financial investors and they're not giving a crap about the people.
No, the people aren't the priority at all.
No.
I mean, I saw a photo the day of Nicola Sturgeon talking to a homeless guy. And there was this big thing, oh, look at her, no security, no this, no that. Aye, but what's she going to do? Is she going to get the guy a home? Or is this just another publicity photo? She's registered as a corporation. This is what people need to get.
Yep.
They are all registered as corporations in Dun and Bradstreet. If they are
People who don't know what you mean, Joan, can you explain what you mean by a corporation?
Well, they've become incorporated. Dun and Bradstreet lists every corporation.
Do you mean a business?
Yeah.
So
business.
they're not employed. So they're not employed by the people.
Well, they are also employed by the people. They're paid by the people, but they're not working for the people because they're serving corporate interests. They're not serving people. They haven't served man and woman for a long time.
So does that mean when they get paid their wages that the taxman doesn't automatically take a third of their wages off them?
Oh, I would doubt that very much, Theresa, because they'll be...
So there's no PAYE. So they're all collecting their wages in the tune of £260,000 a year, and they're not paying tax on the biggest bill kit because they're claiming expenses to travel to and from work.
And they'll be doing what most corporations do. For example, Amazon, do they pay taxes? No. They find all the loopholes to get round to paying the taxes. Now, I can't say for sure that MPs aren't paying taxes on their wages, but I would imagine that they'll be using the tricks of the trade because they're all incorporated, So, their first priority isn't it as... It's not
the first priority is to themselves. And whoever gives them the most money is who they're going to be working for. Well, if we, the general public, they obviously see the general public as a drain on their assets. So they're not going to be looking after us, are they?
No, absolutely not. It's all a big game, and they're all involved in it, And the game is, it's the monopoly. And they're the bankers, no us, They support corporations. I mean, you look at the things that they're allowing to happen. Fracking, for example, 5G, for example. That's because the money that's been pumped into that. They've not even done the research. Now, I'm a layperson, but I've gone and done the research. I'm not getting a salary of an MP or a councillor or any of these people. But I've gone and done the research because it's something that actually I thought was important to look at. These people aren't even doing the research. They're signing this stuff off. When you look at what Mark Steele went through with the courts, he was fined £500 for saying that councillors were baby killers. In effect, he's telling the truth. Because this stuff will kill babies. The evidence
See, I think that is taking away your freedom of speech.
Well, so do I.
So you're no entitled now to have freedom of speech? No. So you can't just say, if that's how he believes, that's his opinion.
Yeah, well,
he's entitled to his opinion.
He gets fined £500 for that. Although he is appealing
that's these corrupt courts again.
They're all looking after each other, and they're certainly not looking after men and women. And that's where, we need change. But government is mind control anyway, isn't it? So government...
Can we go back to the fracking you were talking about, Joan? Nicola Sturgeon, as far as I'm aware, has still got a moratorium on the fracking in Scotland. So in Scotland, we're not actually getting the fracking as of yet. That's not to say we won't get it in the future. I believe she's still got a moratorium on it. I'm not saying that she's wonderful for doing that. I'm saying that, at least she might just be trying something. Because you have to remember, their hands are all tied as well.
Well, right, you're right, we in Scotland have a moratorium. But a moratorium is only a temporary delay. Nicola Sturgeon has also commissioned a study into how you would wind down after fracking. What the effects of fracking would be and how you would clean up after it. Now, why would she be commissioning a study if she wasn't thinking that at some point fracking would go ahead? The second thing in that is INEOS have challenged our moratorium. INEOS is one of the companies that do fracking. However, I'm not sure how far they'll get with that because the stuff in Lancashire right now isn't going down well. I mean, Quadrilla are another fracking company. They're fracking down in Lancashire. They have triggered some seismic events, not big enough to be stopped yet. However, they've triggered...
Any event should have stopped it.
Well, this is it. You've got these government people saying that if an event's below such and such, then it's inconsequential, you know. You've got Natasha Enfield, I think her name is, who's the Commissioner for Fracking in the UK at the moment, telling us that these types of events would be triggered by quarry blasting and things like that. So basically fracking should be allowed to go ahead on the same basis. They're trying
Is she going to be putting her money where her mouth is and being responsible for the thousands and millions possibly that she could be killing it at some time in the future?
No, she's probably invested in it.
Yeah, well that's the problem. This is the problem. This is a major problem that I see, Joan. You've got councillors, MPs, MSPs, government officials, and they're all doing 2 jobs. Maybe not all of them, but a good lot of them are doing 2 jobs. I mean, I know a councillor who also works with DWP, picking up 2 wages. Nicola Sturgeon herself is the First Minister. She's also an MP, so she's picking up 2 wages. I don't think anybody should be picking up 2 wages.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, we've got Hamza in our office as the MSP, and he's also the Justice Minister, so he's also picking up 2 wages. 2 wages and people are starving. That's disgusting.
And people are on the street and dying. And I was looking at the homeless figures not so long ago. 449 people in the UK died on the streets last year. Homeless
How many?
people. 449. Now that's only the ones because the government weren't recording it. That's what's been recorded by like Shelter and all your homelessness charities and things. I believe they're now going to start recording the deaths of homelessness. But 449 people dying in the streets, as far as I'm concerned, is 449 too many when these people are just lying in their own pockets.
That is disgusting, and they should be held account for the death on their doorstep. If it's in their constituency, they should be hanging their head in shame. But the problem is, what happens is, if the councillors go themselves and start to put their head above the parapet, right, and start to say things are no right and blah blah blah, all they do is just shift that councillor and get somebody that says yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir. Because you're not allowed to disagree with them. You've got to agree everything they do and say. You're not allowed to disagree with them. If you disagree with them, you're kicked out. And therein lies the problem. It's no, right, come and we'll sort it. It's, you can only say what I'll let you say. And this, even on this internet, you know, they own this, Joan. You know, we would be totally naive and arrogant if we thought they weren't listening in. Everything I say is the truth, you know.
Well, if they're listening in, all I have to say to them is about time they grew a pair of balls and actually acted decently to their fellow man, you know, instead of lying in their own pockets and stand in integrity. That's, if they're listening in, there's a wee bit of advice for them, you know. And Graham's right there again. Fracking operators do not have public or commercial liability licence to cover contamination or seismic damage. They have circumvented the so-called law of the land. This is the problem. The legislation is made to suit them. I mean, you look at the Tory government, I can't mind the name of the minister, but her husband owns the cannabis industry.
Oh yeah, down south.
Aye, and Theresa May's man's involved in that as well.
Oh, there's no surprises there.
So, how come it's legal for them to manufacture or to grow? They're not manufacturing anything. They're growing a God-given plant. What they're doing to it, I'm not sure. But how come
they've got the UK, the biggest exporter of cannabis.
Cannabis,
and
yes.
one hand they're saying they're the biggest export of cannabis, and on the other hand they're saying you can't take it because it's illegal. Who said it's illegal? You've got UK, the biggest exporters of cannabis. You can't then say it's illegal or you're doing something wrong. You couldn't get a licence to murder somebody, no matter who you are. Nobody in the world or the planet could go and get a licence to go out and shoot somebody just because they wanted to. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you can get a licence to do it, it's no illegal. As soon as you can get a licence to do something, you can't possibly be breaking the law. Because if you're breaking the law, Theresa May's breaking the law, the drug minister's husband's breaking the law, who's going to arrest them? But again, Joan, it's the people no getting up off their backsides and doing enough to talk about this, you know?
Yeah.
Even on here, we don't really talk about all the stuff on here. A lot of the stuff we talk about is no on here. We'll maybe meet up and we'll talk about it and we'll try and get things sorted out. But I find you've got the same kind of number of people all the time. And just while I'm on, actually, there's a video that we're trying to get into the film, right? And it's a guy down south, Michael Bernicia, and he's produced this film, the Great British Mortgage Swindle. Right, so we're trying to get as many tickets as we can so we can book an event, like book a film theatre in Glasgow. So I had phoned a film theatre the day, but you've got to get like 25% of the tickets sold before you'll actually book it. And fair enough, I've got no problem supporting that guy. I would spend £8 on any ticket. It cost me 11 quid the last time I went to the cinema. You know, when I went to the Odeon, it was 11 quid for a ticket. So I've got no problem promoting that guy, or no problem helping him to promote that film and get it out to the people. We could get a wee private hall, but that's not going to have the same effect as getting a venue where it's like a cinema, and the tickets are £8, so we'll get 16 people so far, and we're trying to get as many people as we possibly can. Don't have a date for it yet, Gary, because I'm trying to get maybe to sell 30 to 40 tickets or 60 tickets, and then once I sell 60 tickets, then we can get the venue and get the date. Because I looked at one of the cinemas, I don't want to say the name of the cinema in here, right? And you could hire a room that would cater for, I think it was 60 people. There was another one was for 142 people, and the biggest hall they had catered for 394 people. So what the guy's saying is, if you can get 25% of the venue tickets sold up front, then I'll come up and do the film in the theatre or whatever hall it is that you've booked. So we're trying to get it up to, we've got 16 so far, and we're trying to get it up to as many people as we can, you know. So far I've got 5 that have bought tickets that are not going to go, but they're just supporting it anyway. And fair play to them, you know.
Yeah.
You can't even buy a Chinese for 8 quid. You can't buy a packet of fags for 8 quid. Do you know what I mean? Everybody can afford to pay £8.
Yeah. And the guy's put so much, Michael Bernicia, he's put so much into that. I mean, he's been at it for years. He's done a couple of re-edits and everything else, so it would be great to support that. He knows his stuff as far as the mortgage swindle is concerned.
But I've seen he's got a venue for it in Edinburgh. Bri, have you got names of people? Have you already sold some of your tickets? I've got 16 tickets, but that was for the Glasgow. But I'm trying to make it that, you know, if we have Edinburgh, Glasgow together, then it means that you're not having to get 2 halls. But it would be good if we could have it Edinburgh and Glasgow. Do you know what I mean? Because then you'd be showing it to people in Edinburgh and you'd be showing it to people in Glasgow. So for me, it's just like, come on, everybody, get on board, support the guy. Maybe he's making money out of it, maybe he's no, but I don't really give a monkeys if he's making money. Every single thing we do here is making money. Every time we go to the petrol station, the garage make money, or the oil company makes money. You buy a packet of fags, the tobacco company make money, the government make money. I go to the cinema, I watch a film, the cinema make money, the government makes money. So what difference does it make with this one guy who's trying to help the people? The people should be getting behind this guy and try to help him and promote this film.
I totally agree, Theresa. He's put so much time, effort, and the last few years of his life into making this film. That's not just for his own sake.
No, it's for everybody else's as well, do you know what I mean? And that's how he's trying to get it out. It wouldn't have the same effect, Joan, if we just hired a hall. We all could go and watch this one film. It's not for us to watch. We already know all this stuff. We're trying to get it out there in the cinema, in the public eye. Now, could you imagine if we were able to get the biggest hall that we can in Glasgow, right? And it holds 400 people. Could you imagine people going, where are they all going to see? Do you know what I mean? If 400 people just descended on this one street in Glasgow, all going to this one film to watch it, it'll stir some interest.
Yeah. Yeah, and Gary's saying there, we can put it up as an event on the site and figure out the ticket side perhaps.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good, Gary. I've got 16 so far. I've made a wee spreadsheet of the people who, some have already paid, some have to collect the money, and I've got 16. 4 of them are not going to be gone. But I don't think it's right to give the tickets to people who... I might give the tickets, and we'll discuss it. I might give the 4 tickets that I've got that the people are paying for, that have told me they're not gone, if I genuinely believe that the person cannot afford £8, well, that'll mean that they're no smoking, they're no buying, they're no gambling, they're no buying carry-outs, they're no doing all the crap that I think is a waste of money. Do you know what I mean? So if somebody genuinely, like somebody who was sanctioned and didn't have any income at all, well, you couldn't ask that guy to pay £8. He's probably not get dinner money, never mind anything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's important to be able to help people that, you know, that don't have the money, and help them to see as well, because I think it will be an eye-opener.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I probably would go to the one in Edinburgh as well, because I think the first time I see it, I'll miss loads of it anyway. So I'd be happy to go to the one in Glasgow and the one in Edinburgh.
That's the Wandering Widow, isn't you? You're going to them all.
No, listen, I'm the Merry Wandering Widow.
The Merry Wandering. You're going to them all. I think that would be a great thing for us to get involved in and get people along to see. Because if that got into the mainstream, that's what we need, Joan. Yeah. You know, 400 people turning up somewhere, all at the one time, all to see the same thing. And it's not just about the mortgages, it's about the banks and what they've done to people. You know, it's about the banks and everything else. It's not just mortgages, although it is a Great British Mortgage swindle, you know. It goes into how the banks have done and been able to do what they've done to us. Yeah. You know. And what?
But I can ask you a question. Are you organising the one in Edinburgh? If you are, then let me know and I'll put my name up for yours as well. And let us know what event it is and where it's going to be and things. So you can't actually book it until you've got 25% of the tickets sold. So it's important for everybody to get on board if they can and just support it. Even if they're not gone, just pay your £8 and get the ticket so that the tickets are sold and we can get it into the mainstream media. You know, that's what I feel.
Yeah, and I'll put something up on PIR as well. Because I'm sure there's one or two for there that would be interested to go along and see that. Again, we're talking to people that the vast majority are aware, but for us to not support that, I think would be, you know, not very good. We should be supporting that because it's about getting these things out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Brian says I am now, organising.
Excellent, well let us know. So I'll be checking in with you in a few days to see how many tickets you've got. I've got 16, so we're on a race now.
I'll take one, Brian. Yeah, it'd be great if we could get a number of people along to that. Just to get the message out there. I believe a lot more people are now starting to see some of it, Theresa, some of the swindles, bits here and there. But I think seeing that and everything in it would really open people's eyes wide, you know. I don't know what... Theresa, who are you talking
about? Who are you talking about? I don't know. Who is that? Theresa, who are you talking about? Shower I don't know what you're saying, David.
Who are you talking about? She's talking about Michael Bernice's film, The Great British Mortgage Swindle. Hopefully that will answer the question. Gary's just saying we have to take a break at the top of the hour so that he can get Phil and Theresa. So.
Aye, that's good, because Phil was the other person who's got the same issue as my sister had just last week, you know.
Yeah.
Hers was sorted in half a day, Joan. Half a day. And I've got another friend who got sent for one assessment, then 2 weeks later got sent for another assessment, and again phoned up, got the counsellor onto the case, and no, you don't need to go for an assessment anymore.
Fantastic.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think the more people that go to the counsellors and the MPs and the MSPs to highlight, then they'll begin to see just how much a problem that this is creating in this country and how much a waste of money for the taxpayer. Because at the end of the day, all we're hearing is they've no money for the police, they've no money for the councils, and they've no money to pay the children's or the pensioners' clubs and things like that, because they can't subsidise them anymore. That's all you hear, cutbacks, yet you've got the ATOS gangsters, as I call them, scamming thousands and billions of pounds every single year for assessments that are unnecessary, because the people have already been told that they've got a critical illness or a chronic illness.
Yeah, see, that's the problem as well. These people actually went and had a look at the job advertisements. Now, they're looking for people like ex-nurses, physiotherapists and everything else, but they don't have, like, the experience that your doctor would have. It used to be your doctor did the assessment. And your doctor knows you well. Well, for some people, the doctor knows you well, knows your problems, knows your issues and everything else. I don't know how much doctors were paid for that, but I'm certain it wasn't £800 million plus 30 odd grand salaries every time, you know,
no.
On top of doing their normal job. And this is part of the problem, because they're privatising everything.
Yep. Well, I did say to a counsellor, what's the point in... These people are just tick box exercise, and that's all they're doing. They're just ticking boxes, just like a wee audit check, you know, doing your accounts. When you're auditing accounts, you've got wee tick box exercises, and you tick the boxes, see, you check this, check that, check the next thing, check this, and that's all they're doing, ticking boxes. Paid billions of pounds to tick boxes, right?
Yeah.
And when you go to these assessments, they leave you sitting in the place for ages, because they're actually assessing you before you get in these places. They're watching you on candid camera, walking down the street. And they've moved their building in Glasgow, they've moved their building to just before, at the Clyde side, right? So there's like a walkway, and they've got cameras watching people walking over that bridge across the Clyde, right? They've got cameras watching people coming from... out of their cars. They've got cameras watching people coming from car parks all round about. You know, everywhere you go, you're in candid camera. I don't know how it's possible for anybody to commit a crime in Glasgow, because the cameras that's in Glasgow are disgusting. The amount of times that we're getting our pictures taken in Glasgow is phenomenal. So I don't know how anybody can commit a crime. But lo and behold, the crimes are being committed, and the cop shop can never find out who it is, because they're too busy collecting tickets.
Yeah.
Collecting money, issuing tickets. That's all they're doing. Issuing tickets and collecting tickets. You know, they say the crime rate's down. The crime rate's probably no down at all. I don't know what the crime rate is. But I think there's a lot of crimes going unsolved. Because they're just... Whether they've got the manpower or no, I don't know. But what I do know is, as far as I can see, all they ever do is issue tickets.
That's all revenue collecting. Gary's telling us it's time for the break.
A Kit Kat, alright, okay, I don't really like Kit Kats, but anyway, never mind.
And yes, you're right.
Phil usually brings me a cake, never mind the Kit Kats.
Okay,
we'll have a wee break for 5 minutes and we'll get Phil in to tell everybody his story. Because that's also in line with the same thing as, you know, the other people with the DWP and Brian, things like that. Okay, thanks very much, folk. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Thanks, Joan. Speak to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Also.
No, more about gel coat. When the fourth round would...
Why don't you call in the... More importantly, he knew what he was talking about.
Does it look good already? Okay. Jumbo Scampi for limited.
All for a price that will make you...
This is Rick Simpson, and you're listening to People for People Radio, the voice of truth in Scotland.
Conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate. The unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man. Not one man nor a group of men, but in all men. In you. You, the people, have the power. The power to create machines. The power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to People for People on the 13th of November 2018. We had Brian, the first part of the show, talking about how he had now been given accommodation from the Edinburgh Council, which was fantastic, and that happened after he'd went to his counsellor. We then talked about DWP and things that were happening with people after they also went to their counsellor, and two people that I know, and one's coming on just now to talk about his own thing. So I'm going to introduce you to Phil, who will tell you what he's been doing with the DWP and going to his counsellor. In fact, he's been going to his MP's office to get his situation sorted, and it's still no sorted. Phil, welcome to the show. Do you want to tell people your situation?
Yeah, no problem.
been to the MP's office today, yesterday. Today I had to go to the housing place. But what I figured out is they're trying to move people on, move them out of their houses. And the reason for this is because they're actually getting smart meters fitted into the house while it's empty and furnishing it and renting it back out at 10 times the value to people coming in for, call it asylum if you want. So there's a lot of scams going on in the housing now. So your council never done you any favours by getting another house. They just want people moved on and moved on. But you'll find out this is how they're going to get all the smart metering in because nobody's taking it. So the problem with
different things, Phil, right? So what did you go to your MP for, first of all? What was the first thing you went, like, what did you go to your MP yesterday for?
Because the office manager in the DWP, albeit that I've got valid sick lines in, covered me up to the 11th of February, decided he knows more than the doctor and said, you're fit to work, and decided to sign me off.
If you not get COPD, Phil?
COPD, and I've got chronic sacral lumbar dysfunction for the L4 to the S1 levels in my back. So I've got two
chronic illnesses you've got?
Yep.
And some clerks decided you're fit for work?
Yep, this was an office manager for the DWP who wouldn't even put their name to it. They didn't sign it, it just says office manager.
So what you're saying is this DWP office manager, who is a pain pusher, believes he's got more medical knowledge than the doctor that you attend on a regular basis and says you're unfit for work?
Yep.
So what's your MP doing about it?
I've got hospital appointments as well, but it seems to no matter because this guy knows everything.
Right, so what's your MP doing about it?
Well, I've not heard back from him yet. We'll maybe hear something tomorrow, but my money was supposed to get in. She was going to get in touch with him yesterday and Monday, but my money was supposed to be paid today, but there was nothing in.
Well, that would be right, because it would probably take a few days for them to get it sorted anyway. But is this not the same girl who was already your councillor? Is she an MP or is she a councillor?
She works for the MP. She's a worker in Alison Thulis's office.
Right. So, and she's been helping you for a while?
Yep, but she's had 20 years experience of working with the DWP. That's what she used to work for.
Right. And did she not tell you yesterday that they had already accepted that you had attended the assessment, that they've now sent you a letter saying you didn't attend?
Yes, she certainly did. She says that to me. But the office manager just said, no, you didn't attend it when I did. So I've said to her, that's twice I attended it. But I feel threatened and intimidated when you go in there. It's a place near the sick people in a state of fear and alarm. And we should be using
that. Can you tell, for the people who don't know what would happen in these places, can you tell the folk, if I was to say I was sending you for an assessment, right? And I called you into my office at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, what is your experience of that appointment at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon in this office? What's your take on that?
You will not be taken on time, that's for sure. Nobody gets taken on time. They want you to be in there 10 minutes early. You get there 10 minutes early, they sit and watch you. 10 minutes, I get to 10 minutes after the appointment time, and I tell them, listen, I've had enough, I'm out of here. Because what's happening is, see, these people are making decisions on your benefits and on the same in the job centre as well. They say, they've got these G4S, there's loads of them about in the job centre.
Security.
Group 4 security, right? So they're all in the job centres and in all the ATOS places. This is to protect the decision makers, because they know they're going to decide against you and sanction you and do whatever.
So they make these decisions on the day?
Well, basically, yeah. If you go to the job centre.
Have you ever had a doctor assess you in any of these places, Phil?
No.
A proper doctor?
The only time I get assessed by a doctor...
for a proper doctor to assess you?
They don't have it. They have what's called...
No, they do have it, Phil, they do have doctors. They do have doctors, because I insisted that a doctor assessed me, and I got a doctor to assess me, no a tick box exercise, a clerk. The other thing you can do is tell them you want it recorded, and they must record it, so that they can never kid on that you said something you never said.
Right. But they don't give you a disc on the day, so it's all edited. Already got that done at one of the appeals, and it doesn't say anything, but it said I recorded it. I tried to take it to the Court of Sessions, and because I had this evidence, it was refused to hear it. So it didn't get
you're saying that you've already recorded it in the past, you also recorded it yourself, and the recording that they gave you didn't mirror image your recording?
Exactly.
So they've got from that anyway?
Because when you go into these places, you're meant to sign a mandate to say it's getting recorded, and they're meant to give you a copy of this before you leave, with which you re-sign the mandate to say that you received that copy before you left. But that's not how it works. They send you a couple of months later.
Right.
It's criminal. It's actually criminal what they're doing and how they're doing it and what they're getting away with.
From the documents after you've left the office, that is a criminal offence.
Yep. Well, it's a criminal offence making them decisions on people, because if you commit loss, harm or injury to any man, woman or child, that now becomes a criminal offence. And we should be holding them accountable under the Criminal Justice Licensing Act 2010, Sections 38 and 39. You're placing me in the state of fear and alarm. So you shouldn't be forcing people to go in there. Why have they got all this security about a place where it's all sick and disabled people?
Do you feel intimidated when you go?
Yes.
Do you think other people feel scared and intimidated when they go?
Yes, yes.
So why does the people no charge them under the Criminal Licensing Act, Section 38, the same as they're doing to the people?
Well, the people don't know it. People don't know this stuff, Theresa. It's not the case that they don't charge them. If the people knew and they understood this stuff, unless you're going to go down with leaflets and flyers and take it around all the places where where, albeit it was originally Atos, it's still Atos. It doesn't matter whether it's Haas, Maximus, Salus, Serco.
They just change the name.
Exactly, but see right at the very bottom line, it still says Atos. An information and technology company. How have they got the right to decide how people are sick or no sick, fit to work or no fit to work?
Well,
it's IT. It's a software program developers.
Can I ask, Phil, when this office manager, who wouldn't sign the document other than saying that they were office manager, did they do an actual assessment on you?
No, because that person signed that was straight from the DWP on Friday. I got that. They've never even seen me. They don't even know what I look like.
So how can they...
I've never been in the DWP's offices, but it's the ones in Clyde Bank, right? So that's who made this decision on me. And it's just too crazy to believe that these pen pushers are allowed to make these decisions and they're getting away with it. That's criminal.
Do you think they're doing that if they sign people off? They've then got to go and make a fresh claim, and then they can push everybody into universal credits. Do you think that's maybe what they're trying to do then?
Well, that's another factor. But here's another thing which it says on that letter. We'll not be paying your council tax, so you better go and see your local authority. So, hold on, is it local authority tax or council tax? Everything they're doing, every single bit, Theresa, is criminal when you break it all down.
Well, you mentioned hand loss and injury, but you didn't mention fraud, and there's a lot of fraud going on there. Gary's put in there that 3 European High Court judges deemed it was unlawful, illegal and immoral to place disabled folk in hardship by bad decisions. He used a case, that can't remember the name, and that he went with them to Atos and they weren't bothered again for 2 years. This is part of the problem though. Most people, this is private stuff, isn't it? We shouldn't have to be, you know, we shouldn't have to be put there.
You shouldn't be getting subjected to any of this at all.
Yeah,
absolutely no, because my assessment, it was actually done originally by Cadogan Street, not by the IT people, but by real doctors, was they put me on this for life. For life. That's what it says after I got the original documents. And they said, no, it doesn't matter because you can get better. Your chronic illness can get cured. Can it?
Well, that's what chronic illness is. It can't be cured.
Well, but they said it can. I thought so. They work more miracles than Lourdes. I go to Lourdes, man. You just go to Atos, you're better.
Nice one. Graham's put in there, ask them one simple question. Is this assessment lawful? They abandon the meeting because they know it's unlawful. And he's saying that they've done it 3 times at Cadogan Street in Glasgow. When asked, is this assessment lawful? The thing is, the assessments are not lawful. They're just descriptors. It's nothing to do with medical information or anything else. It's, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? No, you can probably...
Listen, can you lick a stamp? If you can lick a stamp and stick it on your fit to work.
Aye. Aye, basically that's what it comes down to now.
That's what you've got to do. That's software developers for you.
Yeah, see, that's the problem as well.
Yeah, but software developers are not dealing with human life.
No, I know.
Real people.
But it's artificial intelligence, is it not?
Yeah, but they're still not dealing with real people.
You don't know what it is to deal with real people. You know? But they don't care, because it's one of them Atos workers says, I don't care. He gets X amount for the first 6 every day, and then after that it doubles. The guy was working his bum off to get, like, I think he was taking over £30,000 a month. Damn, he's smelling the Prime Minister. Smelling the First Minister. The two of them put together, doesn't come to that what he's getting. No, the best part of 400 grand a year. That's nuts.
Disgusting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, it's unjust enrichment on their part. Definitely. Committing fraud to make all this money and making decisions that they're not qualified to make. I had hospital proof from a professor and everything, but it didn't matter.
So you got a letter yesterday to tell you you're not getting your benefit, or Monday to tell you you're not getting any benefits. You were due to be paid yesterday, you've not been paid any money.
No, the day was meant to be paid.
The day, so you might be paid today, you've not been you've not received 1 copper coin, and nobody's phoned you to say, are you alright and you're a sick man? So they've left you destitute, with no money, no electricity, no gas, no nothing, no money to pay for nothing. How are you supposed to buy a pint of milk?
Well, you know. They don't care. It's not their problem to care. That's your problem.
No, they're not supposed to be.
In their world, it's not their department to be worrying about you.
Yeah, but I read somewhere they're supposed to alert you that you're not going to be getting your next lot of money so that you can take steps to go and try and get it sorted before you end up in a position where you don't have 1 penny to live on.
No, they've already left me in that position. That's me, you know. And sure,
you were due money today and you never got any money at all?
Not a penny.
That's disgusting. So that's not just happening to you, that's happening to thousands of people up doing the country.
Thousands of people, but what's more concerning about this is, right, I'll survive because I've got lots of pals and people I know, right, but the thing is what about all the people that haven't got that backup that I've got? What about all the people that are worried, stressed out, and have died for these decisions? Who's going to get held to account? I mean, they're complicit in murder. They're complicit in murder. Genocide. It's unbelievable how many people are dead because of their actions. But they've got their guilt. I don't know how they sleep at night, to be honest with you, but anyway. That's how it is, Theresa.
Yeah, I certainly don't know how they sleep at night either. I mean, I just couldn't do that to my fellow man or woman. You know, seeing that they're in difficulty anyway and leaving them without a penny, I just couldn't do that. I don't know how they sleep at night. But again, it's back to this, I'm alright, Jack. And it's it's also back to that whole division agenda where, you know, people look after themselves and you know, get caught up in the programming and aren't really caring about their fellow man and woman now, you know. As long as I'm getting my 30 grand salary, all is fine, you know. I think it's absolutely appalling.
Well, 30 grand's what they're getting a month. Some of them, because of the amount of things that they're doing. As I say, for everyone you have to get a bonus, don't they?
Is this Atos people?
Aye.
The Atos staff, aye.
Listen, we're over 200,000 dead since this all started about, so that tells the tale. That's it. Oh, you know, 200,000, that's a lot of people dead.
Yeah.
And nobody be held accountable for the deaths.
And they tell you there's no social security, and yet we've got a social security minister telling you over 10 billions went unclaimed. £10 billion unclaimed. When it lies there for a wee while, then they can take it all off you because it's not been claimed. You see what I'm saying? It's all about killing us all off because there isn't any pension money to you.
Yeah, they stole people's pensions as well, Phil.
I know, they've done everybody's pensions, it doesn't matter. Because they take these private ones.
I'm looking forward to the day that they call in the buy-in system for the banks, you know, and take all these millionaires' monies off them. See how they feel then when they're left penniless. Because I tell you this, they'll struggle more than you and I.
They will, because they're no use to having nothing.
Yep. And they've got no friends.
Exactly. So, as I say, that's my story with it all anyway. It's just every day's a new day, every day's a new fight. I just got up. I'm going to have to go ahead of them again and start quoting all these acts. And
right, we need to kind of go now because we need to kind of cut you off now, sorry.
That's okay. That's
okay. Thanks for coming on and sharing that, and hopefully we'll get good news to tell the people the next time we're on the show, alright?
Right, okay.
And you're sorted.
Lovely to speak to you, Phil, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks for coming on.
Right, Joan, cheers, said. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Hope you get your entitlements reinstated soon.
It is entitlements, actually. They call it benefits, you know.
Yeah.
But it is entitlements.
Well, all the best for it, and hopefully you'll be on soon telling us they're reinstated and, you know, you've got food on your table, because that's important.
I mean, that's...
Aye, no bother, Joan. Thank you.
Alright, thanks, Phil. Speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.
See you later. Bye. Bye.
Well, there you go, Joan. That's another one. So that's two people this week who DWP have sent letters saying you're not getting your benefits and left them penniless. Now, they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to alert people that they're going to be and tell them that they've got to go to a job centre or something like that. You know what I mean? But if you go to a job centre, right, so Phil's been told by some clerk or office manager that he's fit to go to work. If he goes, he's now supposed to go to the job centre to be available for work. He's not fit to go to work. He's not even fit to walk to the job centre. Because by the time he gets to the job centre, he'll be out of breath, right? and he's supposed to go to work. How's he supposed to go to work every single day, or even down to the job centre to say that he's fit for work? So when he goes to the job centre, then this is what he should actually do. Phil, what you should do is now you go to the job centre and say, this guy says I'm fit for work, get them to send you for a job, and they send you back to the job centre because you're not fit to go to work. And if they do send them to work and anything happens, then sue them. Sue them. And if anything happens to you, I'll sue them on your behalf for sending you out to work when they knew you were unfit to go to work. And that's what people need to start to do.
But even, he shouldn't even have to go all that bother. The man's obviously not fit to work. He's got COPD, he's got problems with his spinal discs, for what he says, his lumbar and sciatic discs.
All sorts of stuff, do you know what I mean?
Well, if he's got the problems in his back, he's obviously going to be in chronic pain.
Yeah, he is in chronic pain.
He's going to be in chronic pain, and COPD, then his breathing's going to be affected.
Yep.
But what's happening here is they're putting more and more stress onto that man. By some office manager. And Graham's put in there, served him a notice before the assessment begins. DWP is run by Secretary of State. Hold him personally liable. I would be going one step further. I would be putting a notice of liability on that office manager. I would be finding out their name and putting a notice of liability on them.
Well, he does. That's a good idea. I'm going to take that in there, notice of liability. On the office manager, because Phil does know the name of the office manager. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't on the document, but it said office manager, and Phil said loads of letters from this office manager, you know.
Yeah, because Graham said inform the Secretary of State for the DWP that you're going to hold him liable, or her liable.
Yeah.
I would be informing Esther McVeigh as well. I mean, that woman has to be a sociopath. Has to be. The thing she's doing with this universal credit, she's been warned time and time again that people are...
they're invincible. You see, they think they're invincible. It's the same as Theresa May. They think they're invincible. They think they can do what they want to the people, and nobody is going to hold them to account. And that's because nobody does hold them to account. Try going and getting a cop shop to go and hold Esther McVeigh or Theresa May to account for the fiasco and the shambles and the deaths that she's created and caused in this country. Try getting a cop to go and arrest her.
They're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it. They're all in the club together. The police, as far as I'm concerned, the police are the biggest culprits here, because they're the ones that's encouraging and allowing this government and any of these people that are put in place. They work for us. We don't work for them, Joan. These government officials work for us, no the other way about. We pay them to act in our behalf. Well, it's no acting in our behalf if they're paying £800 million to ATOS. It's no in the people's best interest if they're sanctioning people and leaving them destitute with no food. They're evicting children and families out in the street. That's not in the people's best interest. To get evicted on the street and be put in a homeless unit that costs 3 or 4 times the money to house them than it would if they just left them in their council house.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So they're not working for the people. They're working for themselves. They're working for the investors, and they're working for whoever's giving them money. Shame on them, and they want to hold their heads in shame. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. That the only people they're concerned about is their bloody selves.
And their own pockets.
Yeah. And their own pockets. But there's a higher being than us in this world. So, you know, as Billy kept telling me, Joan, don't judge. Everybody has their own reward. So roll on when their reward comes.
Yeah, and Billy's right. I mean, don't judge. It's something I really work on, because we're taught to judge from an early age, you know. It's a socialised thing. And again, it's all about this divide and conquer agenda. We're taught to judge from an early age, so it becomes, I do my best. I try to catch my judgments and stop them. I still can't help judging people like Esther McVeigh, because the damage that she's doing to my fellow man and woman is absolutely horrendous, and that really, really gets to me. The damage these politicians are doing
Joan,
to
the damage that all these people are doing, the damage that these courts are doing, the police are doing, the government are doing, the financial ombudsman are doing, the damage that they're all doing to this country, all the councils on the take, stealing all the money, plummeting away and keeping it for themselves. The damage they're doing to this country is disgusting.
Yeah.
Taking two salaries, who in their right mind could go and think that they're justified in taking two salaries when they tell you or I we could live on 73 quid a week, but they want, what, 30, 60,000 pounds for each job?
And a grocery allowance of
And a grocery bill and all sorts of allowances, do you know what I mean? And they're not paying tax, national insurance and all the rest of it on every penny. I'm not saying they're not paying any tax, national insurance, but I doubt they're paying full tax and national insurance like you and I would pay.
No, absolutely not. They'll know all the loopholes. They'll be paying exactly what they have to and nothing more.
Probably not even paying what they should be paying.
No.
They think they're justified in telling you that you can live in 70 quid a week. Away you go and don't talk rubbish.
Well, their grocery allowance is double that.
Yeah, just for the week.
That's just their grocery allowance.
And all their allowances and everything else. I don't, that's shambolic. But again, Joan, what
we've allowed it. We've allowed it.
You get the people who go, well, you should be out working. Yeah, in an ideal world it would be good if we could all go out working. But if nobody was sick, do you think there's enough jobs out there for everybody?
No.
Of course there's not.
Particularly not now. I mean, we don't have the industry that we used to have. Our shipbuilding's gone. All the big industries are gone. We've got a fantastic whisky industry in Scotland. We've got a fantastic food export industry. We've got the oil and everything else. And
we've got a brilliant financial system, Hen. They keep paying out fines and just keep collecting money off the people that are already screwed. That's the best industry. Give you £100 in one and take 110 off you another.
Aye, and this it's no latest, it's been a few years now in Glasgow, you know, if you litter, they're giving you a £75 fine or £85 fine. You know, they've employed people who are out there doing that, and it's simply to cover their wages and make a profit for the council. It's not because they want to keep the city any cleaner, you know. It's because it's another way of making money. I mean, what are they going to come up with next? Are they going to tax the air that we breathe?
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying that for years. If they could bottle up the air that we breathe and sell it, they would. You know? And Graham saying, don't forget your biscuit bill. I told him a long time ago, 73 quid didn't cover the biscuit bill, and it doesn't. You know, when I seen their biscuit bill, I said to Ruth Davison, I told you 73 quid didn't cover the biscuit bill. The biscuit bill was thousands of pounds. And don't forget the credit card that they used. £181,000 on a credit card in 1 year they used. That's over and above their wages and their expenses and all sorts of crap. And
who was that, Theresa? Was that a credit card for the Scottish Parliament? Or?
Yeah. £181,000 one of the years, in 1 year alone. And it was going up and up and up and up. I mean, that was a few years ago. I don't know what it is now. But you know something, Joan? I'm going to go through all my stuff and pull it all back out again, because the general public don't actually know this stuff. They don't know it because it's not in mainstream media, and even if they read it in mainstream media, they forgo it because they're that busy with their own lives.
Yeah.
See, everybody's too busy.
Well, that's part of the agenda too, is to keep us all too busy to actually be able to explore what's going on. You know, between that and the programming, most people don't look into what happens with mortgages, for example.
No, not at all.
That your
That's how I want to support this guy, because he has went into it and in great debt, and you're not going to get that great debt. It's the same as they did make a film on the mortgages. I can't remember the name. If anybody remembers the name, put it in there. And I sent it to everybody. I said, here, there you are, there's what they've done with the mortgages. The only part of the film that I couldn't have wrote, Joan, was, you know how they had the AAA ratings? So you had rating companies in America and the UK who rate you for how much your business is worth and all the rest of it. So they had AAA ratings, right? And what happened was there was only 2 companies who either said you were either a minus or you had an A or a double A or a triple A. Triple A was the best credit facility, best credit rating there was. So what they said was, if we didn't give them the triple A rating, we would have lost our fees. So we had to give people the triple A ratings just so that we could get our fees. So that was all a scam as well. So these triple A's and your credit score and all the rest of it, you know, the wee minions like us, you can't get finance because your credit score's so low. But here, that one over there will give you at 10% interest instead of 2, you know. Yeah. And it's a subsidiary of the same bank. You know, my sister went one time and she was putting £5,000 on her mortgage. She hadn't missed her mortgage, but the Bank of Scotland wouldn't give it. But they said, they'll give you Birmingham Midshires. So that's, well, okay then, I'll just take it off of them. But they were a higher rate. It turned out that Birmingham Midshires was a subsidiary of the Bank of Scotland.
Doesn't surprise me in the least.
So the Bank of Scotland refused to give it, and she was with them for something like 5-10 years, and she was paying her mortgage every month, but they refused to give her the loan of 5,000, and they put her on to Birmingham Midshires, who were a subprime lender. Subprime lenders predominantly charging more interest on a daily basis, fractional banking, all the rest of it, making an absolute fortune, and it's a subsidiary of the Bank of Scotland.
Yeah, and to think that it's all created by your signature anyway, they're no lending you anything.
Yep.
Fraudulence in contract.
All the time. And this is the problem we've got. So the thing is, it's like, right, we can talk about this for new to doomsday, you know, and then you might make up another one person, but that's how I think this film would be something that would be able to kickstart something. It might no, Joan, but it's worth a try.
Oh, it's definitely worth a try, but definitely worth supporting. Like I say, the guy's put so much of his life into it. And it's not just about helping himself, it's about helping other people, so that's good enough in my book.
Me too.
To support him.
I spend £8 on rubbish, do you know what I mean? Every time I go, I'm at my son's and doing everything, you go to that co-op and you never come out spending less than 20 quid, and you've hardly got anything.
Aye, because of the price of things these days as well.
It's extortionate.
And what you're buying's not always the best either. The genetically modified tomatoes. When did you ever have to core a tomato when you were young, Theresa? You now have to core tomatoes.
Core tomatoes?
Yeah, the fibrous stuff in the middle. When I was young, you never ever saw that. That's your genetically modified tomatoes. It's the same with your garlic. See if they're no hairy in the bottom, don't buy the bulb. Because they're genetically modifying everything to make it cheaper, and you're not getting the quality food, you know.
No, Joan, I have to disagree with you there, then. There ain't no way making it cheaper. Nothing's cheaper in the shops.
To make it cheaper for them to produce.
For them, no for us.
Yeah, sorry, I should have clarified that. To make it cheaper for them to produce, and therefore give them more profit.
That's all they're interested in. They're not interested in the people, they're only interested in what they're going to get, what's in it for me. That's it, that's all they're in. And unfortunately, and the sad fact of reality is, a lot of people are like that as well. They don't give a toss as long as they're okay. They can go to the pub, they can go to the bookies, they can go and get their wee bit of weed or whatever it is that they want to do, and they're all quite happy, they don't care.
Yeah.
And that's the sad fact of reality.
There is a sad fact to reality, but again, that's all been about the separation, and that agenda's been around certainly since the 60s in Glasgow, when they started moving people out and everything else, and away from, you know, people grew up near their extended families and stuff like that. You know, you don't see that now. They're all here, there and everywhere. And it's to keep us separated. It's to keep us divided. Like, all the pubs shutting down. Was the smoking ban in pubs really about our health? Or was it stopping people getting together and away for their programming?
I would say the smoking ban in the UK was because it wasn't about our health.
No.
I would say it's because when we had the EU, you could go over to Spain or France and bring back your fags at a fraction of the cost, right? So that meant our government weren't making the same money for selling the fags, because what you were paying £10 a packet here for, you're maybe getting over there for £5. Or there's a fiver, they were £2.50, so you were paying half the price, but our NHS was having to pick up the tab for your illness through cigarette smoking. I don't smoke, Joan, so I don't know what it's like, but I'm pretty sure Billy did smoke, and I did go to Spain, and I did bring, every time I went to Spain I came back, I brought 16 cartons of fags, and then I discovered that the 16 cartons of fags, it isn't actually a strict limit. The legislation states that you can bring cigarettes. It only recommends 16 as being the norm for your own use. But they've got to prove that you were going to bring them for any other use. Now, I don't know about you, but I had 3 people in my house that smoked. Well, I'm not bringing fags for anybody except my husband and my 2 boys. I'm not selling them. I'm bringing them so that it saves me money, because I was bloody paying for the fags anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I would have never sold day fags coming from Spain. But it was saving me a fortune. It's just the same as when I paid the money into the Wayne's dinner, the school for the Wayne's dinner. That saved me money. Most things I do, it's to save me money. I hate paying a penny more than I have to. Billy used to laugh at me because I would go to this shop because it was 10p cheaper, you know, and I had my wee granddaughter in the shop one day, and a wee wifey dropped £1. Or a pet, she dropped something, and she was, it's alright, and the Wayne says, Gran, sure you told me if you watch your pennies, the pounds will watch themselves. I said, I sure did, pet. And she started laughing, so she picked up her change, do you know what I mean? And she was just going to leave it lying there. It was like a 20p or something like that. Wow.
Aye. Well, again.
But how many grannies are involved in their ranges' lives, Joan?
Well, that's it. They're no anymore. It's that separation thing.
Aye.
When I think back to, like, my own grandparents, they all lived, like, my dad was brought up in Springburn. You know, his auntie and uncle was just along the road. His gran and granda was just up the road. They were all round about. You don't see that these days. And I don't know about where you live, but there are no houses here for the young people. And if they want to get a house, they can't get on the housing market because the houses here are too expensive anyway. You know, and what is available is private landlords. People are sorry.
Up there.
Alright, sorry about that. That people were moved away from their families.
Well, I'm fortunate because I'm still round about all my family. My sister just stays up the road from me. My other sister's up the hill from me. My niece is round the corner from me, just the other way. My brother's just in East Kilbride, 20 minutes away if I need to get him. My other sister stays about 20 minutes like into Paisley, and I'm surrounded with friends and family. So I'm quite fortunate.
Yeah,
you know,
very much so.
I know I'm very fortunate, Joan. You know, and if I needed help, then I just call in everybody, and there's help there for me. You know, I never did my show last week, folks, because I just was on a downer, and I didn't want to come on and depressing people. But I'm not depressed. I mean, I don't actually know what depression is because I've never suffered for it. You know, my attitude is that, you know, you deal with what you've got to deal with, and if you don't feel like talking that week, then don't talk that week. And then just pick yourself up, dust yourself down and move on. And I suppose I'm quite fortunate to be able to do that. But would I be able to do it if I didn't have all the support of the people that I've got round about me?
I think it would be a lot more difficult for you, Theresa.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem as well. I mean, there's Phil on earlier on. Thankfully, he's got people around him. But the other people...
but he knows people who don't have anybody.
Yeah.
You know, he knows somebody that can't even get a shower because she's scared to get into the shower in the house on her own.
Yeah, and it's not
We're going to go up and like, we're going to go up and sit in the house while she has a shower just in case she falls or just in case she needs somebody to help her or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my other pal are going to go up and do it. Do you know what I mean? Just sit in the house.
Yeah, and that's great that she'll have that if you can go up now and again and let the women get a shower. But how many people have been told they're not getting benefits that are on their last penny anyway because of this rush to get everybody off entitlements, because I'm not going to call them benefits.
No.
How many people aren't just poor in terms of financial sense, but that deprives them in so many ways. It deprives them of human company. You know,
because they can't
afford to go anywhere. It deprives them of, you know, I don't know, maybe a wee book, if they're into their books, or a pair of knitting needles, or whatever it is they want to do, they can't afford to do. That in itself, it's not just about the poverty of money, which is make up anyway, as Billy would have told us. It's about the poverty that then creates and everything else, you know. And the deprivation and the isolation that then creates. Mm-hmm. We're making people suffer for no good reason, because there's enough resources in this earth to meet everybody's need.
But no man's greed.
Exactly.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem. We will never, ever satiate the insatiable greed of the elite, so-called elite. They're no elite. Elite means something totally different. We will never, ever be able to give them enough. It will never be enough.
No, not at all.
You know?
I mean, it's disgusting, Joan. We should not be starving anybody. We should not be leaving anybody penniless for any length of time.
No. And neither should we be putting families out in the street. There is no way on this earth we should be putting families with children out in the street. There's no way we should be putting anybody in the street.
No.
But in particular, to put a child on the streets when they are growing and developing, you're already stunting their development, because you're not meeting their basic needs. And that's what these governments are doing. They're stunting the development of children because they're making people live in poverty and they're putting them on the streets. They've not got the security of a roof over their head. They've not got the security of getting a meal every day, you know?
No, I know.
And they go on about all these early start programmes. Never mind your early start programmes. Give people a roof over their head and a decent amount of money to live on, and they'll be okay. Do you know?
Definitely.
But again, people are too greedy these days anyway.
Well, that's it. They want everything yesterday.
Yeah, they want the 70-inch tellies and, you know, the smart this and the smart that. That was an interesting point Phil made as well about the smart meters.
Uh-huh.
Trying to get them into all the houses, because there is now more awareness about that. You know, people are starting to question whether they should have them or not. And there's definitely been a number of incidences getting publicised.
Well, Phil would tell you, Joan, that they don't have the British kite mark.
No, they don't. No.
They don't have the British kite mark, and if they don't have the British kite mark, then your insurance is null and void if your house goes on fire. And it has been known that these smart meters, they go on fire.
Yep.
They just burst into flames for no apparent reason.
Yeah, Graham saying I always serve them notice of Article 25 under the United Nations Human Rights. It's a very powerful tool of protection. I can't remember what Article 25 is, but it'll come back to me. I used to be able to quote every article, I'll tell you. But yeah, well, look at your 5G, Theresa. Glasgow's getting it. pretty soon. Edinburgh's getting it pretty soon. They were cutting down loads of trees in Princess Street. Healthy trees, but they're being cut down to make way for 5G. This
Article 25, Joan, is everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of him and himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing and medical care and necessary social services, and the right to security in the event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age or other lack of whatever. Right, well, widowhood, you get £2,500. When Billy died there, I got £2,500 to pay for the funeral and £100 a month for 18 months. I'll try not to spend that £100 a month in the one shop.
You probably spent it in the co-op already.
Aye, it's no good. I don't shop in the co-op, Joan. I can't afford, I don't know how MD can afford to go to these local shops. I can't afford to shop like that. I buy bulk. But as I said before, I'm fortunate. I've got a card for Costco. I can go and buy bulk. Do you know what I mean? No everybody's got that facility. No everybody's able to go to use the card to go to get the card to go to the shop and put that money out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's able to do that.
A lot of people are just living week to week and month to month, Theresa, and don't have... Yeah. They don't have that, because it's certainly something I used to do would be, you know, go to Macro and get my spices and herbs and things like that. I use a lot of spices and herbs in my cooking. So I would go to Macro and get them, but again, you have to have money to do that. And a lot of people just don't have it, unfortunately. But again, that's what your wealthy do, and that's how they save, you know. A lot as well, because money is their god, you know.
Oh, definitely. Well, how can they justify taking so much money when they tell you don't need so much money?
Well, they can't justify it.
Judges' wages just went up 60 grand. £60,000. But the nurse and the doctor, or no even maybe know the doctor, but the nurses, they're lucky if they got, what, a 2 or 3% increase. And the students are the same.
Yeah, the teachers were the same. And that was after a pay freeze for quite some time. You know, the judges have had their rises every year. Your politicians have had their rises every year. And yet they feel it's fine to cut back on the poorest. Something definitely has to change.
Oh, definitely. And it's only us people doing something, and doing these radio shows are good, but we need to get out there, Joan, like you said, you know, we'll maybe get a camper van and just go up and down the streets, go up and down the place. In fact, I know somebody who's selling a camper van.
Oh, that's a sign, Theresa. That's a sign. We'll go and do a road show. But that's what I was saying earlier about you know, the entitlements as well. That's private stuff, and people don't know these things because they don't want to go and talk about...
Oh, they're embarrassed.
They're embarrassed about it.
My sisters are mortified with me.
Yeah.
I told them in the past, she says, if you're mortified with that, I don't know what you're going to do. You better buy a balaclava or something, because there's more to come. I don't know what they're going to do.
When we do a road show, they do turn up balaclavas. But I was saying there, he does a supermarket wheelie bin run. The food they toast still has days, sometimes week. It is sickening when folk are dying.
Yeah,
for lack, you know. I knew they're going to take the old folks' fuel allowance away unless they can prove they're totally skint. No, imagine taking that away for people in winter where they're not able to heat themselves. You know, their heating allowance.
You'll have these damn politicians saying, well, I don't need it. I mean, why should I get it? It shouldn't just be a blanket for all, because I don't need it.
Yeah, well, you don't need it because you've got a damn good salary and, you know, loads of perks to the job.
Here, Joan, it's the same as the cap that they put on the child benefit, right? That if you earn more than £50,000 a year, you don't qualify for tax credit for the child benefit, you know, the family allowance we used to call it. So, I mean, it's only 15 quid a week anyway, right? Or 20 quid if you've only got one kid. But what happens is, 2 people in the one household, because it's per household, so it's a couple, so 2 people could be earning £49,000. And they would qualify. But one person could be earning £50,000 and one penny, and they wouldn't qualify.
That's a crazy
So that's a crazy, that to me is victimisation, discrimination.
Oh, there's a lot
that
of
family could have £100,000, almost £100,000, all but a penny, then the man that's only got 50,000 should still be entitled to his benefit.
Yeah, is that one of the rains up?
Sorry, I've got a wee sad girl who's drinking.
I want my phone. He said that it's in the kitchen or in his bedroom, it's nowhere.
I don't know. So
can I use your phone to phone him?
Hold on, she's got to use my phone.
Oh.
You're on live. You're all over the world. She doesn't care.
Mark's putting in there, that came to my mind, David Cameron put that through after his disabled son died. Yeah, but he took the entitlements for his disabled son. He didn't refuse them because, you know, he did damn good salary or anything else.
But they've no conscience, Joan. Mark, they've no conscience, pal. But don't worry, you know, he will have his day, maybe he had his day with his son. I can't imagine anything worse happening with my son, man. You know, that's... And I'm sure loads of folk have lost their sons, and I know, I mean, my sister lost her son, and horrendous, my friend lost her son, horrendous, you know.
But to lose your son and then put that legislation through that meant other people wouldn't get the entitlements.
Yeah, that's just the kind of scumbags that they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
He probably put that legislation so he could get paid and other people then knew they didn't need it. The same as the pensions. Cash in your pension when you're 55. That'll probably change in the not too distant future. They're already starting to say that people's taking all their money and spending it. Well, what do you want to say? Keep it for you to spend? No thanks.
I was on the phone to you on the day.
Aye, take your pension.
Take the last of it out. I took some out last year because I'd been off for quite some time after my heart attack, and things were really tight, so I took some out. And I thought, well, I must well take it out because it'll all get robbed anyway if I leave it in.
Oh, definitely.
You know, why should I leave that with a big company? There's no guarantee that I'm going to get it at the end, you know. We've all been robbed our pension pot anyway. So no, I was on the phone to them today, and I'll be back on to them tomorrow to get it sorted, so there you go.
But Joan, no disrespect, why should you have to take your pension bit by bit like that to live? Well, that was supposed to be for when you retired.
Exactly.
You know, and it's happening up and down the country. People, I took mine, Billy took his, you know. Because if you keep it, it's pointless.
Yeah.
Because they tell you you're going to spend it and live in it. I've already, that's my money I saved up to make my life more bearable when I became a pensioner. I'm a pensioner, the scumbags have stolen my pension money.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, they've stolen mine too. I mean, I was born in 1960. I started work at 14. I started work and continued to work under the illusion, because that's what it was when I think about it, that I would get my pension at 60. I'm not going to get a pension now until I'm 66 and a half.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I've paid into this system all my life.
Yeah, Billy paid into the system, he's deeded it, and I got 1,800 quid.
So what happens to all that money?
They keep it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what David says one time he was working in his job, and the wee man, because he was in the casino working, and the American came over, you know, and he was in the casino, and, you know, David says something to David about pensions. He went, no, we don't get pensions there, you mate. And the guy went, what, you don't get all day's pensions? He went, no, he says, average lifespan's 58. He said, you don't get a pension, you're 65, so the majority don't get it.
And we've got one of the worst pensions in Europe. We've got one of the worst pensions in the world, despite the fact that we pay a lot more.
And it's the government, they're scumbags. Absolute scum. We want to get rid of the government that we've got in, and I don't know how you do that, Joan. You know?
No, because
you've got too many people that back them up, like the police, like the army, even though they know it's wrong. I told you, Joan, I told people in the past, I was in uni, and one of the people that was in that uni class with me was a policewoman. And she said, we know we're doing things wrong, but I just do what I'm told. I said, was that not what Hitler's meant said?
See, I've never really been good at doing what I'm told, Theresa.
That's my problem, Joe.
No, it's like opening my mouth. And Graham's put there's something else about spending money. You know, that Cameron left his daughter in the pub, and people thought it was funny. We would have got sectioned for child abuse or neglect.
And we're reinstating office.
Well, they've just announced today they're putting another 150,000 into the police investigation of Madeleine McCann. 150,000 again.
That's disgusting.
Now, how many... If that had been you or I, Theresa, and didn't have the contacts that these people have, we would have been done for child neglect.
Definitely.
Our other children would probably have been taken off us. But they got all these people over, spin doctors, you know. They had somebody managing their case. They got, what, I think it was 12 million in the Search for Madeleine fund that people were sending to them. And now our government is putting more money into that. And they're saying they've not got the money to investigate paedophilia in this country.
Oh, they've got the money to investigate. They don't want to investigate themselves, do they?
Exactly, because they'll have to use in the interests of national security.
And it costs too much.
Yeah. I watched a brilliant analysis of that case, and it was a guy called Peter Hyatt. He analyses words used and grammar and, you know, everything. He did a brilliant analysis, and he's convinced that they had something to do with that, and that child was dead even when they were being interviewed as agredos, you know. So
as a what?
Suspects. It was the Portuguese word for suspect. Agredo is what they were called.
Well, the thing is, I don't really want to say anything about it, because obviously I don't know. I can have my own opinion and all that, but I never really followed the story anyway. I just knew if they weren't the doctors, their other two kids would have been taken off them, as yours and I's would have been done.
Exactly. If they hadn't had the contacts they had, and weren't as high up in society, if you want to call it that. As far as I'm concerned, there is no high ups. We are all equal. We are all one. You know.
I wouldn't know as far as you're concerned, but you're right, Joan. You know. And there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah, and Graham's saying Richard D. Hall done a brilliant documentary on it. Yeah, he did, because that's what led me to Peter Hyatt. But anyway, let's not end on that note.
No, not at all.
What's the Merry Widow getting up to this week?
Well, I'm
buying a camper van.
I'm not buying a camper van, no. I've got my brother-in-law's this week, so I'm at Robertson now, and I'm going to my brother-in-law's tomorrow. So. Oh,
you're going up to Nairn,
Yeah.
Excellent. That'll be lovely. I'm
not allowed to walk about, and I'm not allowed to do this. You know, I was under house arrest for a week. I think I'm still under house arrest.
That's quite right. They're quite right. You do have to rest that leg, missus, and get it
this leg's in agony, Joan. Even just moving my leg, it's excruciating pain. Anyway, Phil's going to go and get me some more arnica, but I tried to order it online, but I don't think I can go and just buy it out of the shop, so he'll go and pick some up for me, I think.
And does the arnica help?
It helps with the pain. Doesn't take it away, but it numbs it a wee bit.
Right.
So I'll just keep taking that just now.
Is your knee still inflamed?
It's still inflamed and it's still in agony, even just walking about.
Do you know turmeric's a brilliant anti-inflammatory taken with black pepper?
No, what do I put it on though, turmeric?
I put it in a lot of my foods because, like I say, I use turmeric most days, actually. But I have done it like a tea.
But guess what? My brother-in-law will look after me all next week because he likes cooking. I hate cooking, so he'll do all the cooking. He'll be happy and I'll tell him to put turmeric in it. Whatever I cook, I'll phone you, Joan, you can tell me to put in it, you put it.
Turmeric and black pepper, tell him.
I will put black pepper in anyway.
So you want to get the inflammation down there.
It's an agony, absolute agony. It's keeping me awake at night. I'm not able to sleep at night, so I'm getting pure crabbit because I can't sleep, you know.
Right.
So I'm not really getting a night's sleep either.
And that sleep deprivation's not a great thing either.
No. But anyway, you just got to pick yourself up, dust yourself down, and move on.
Get on with it. And keep getting that message out.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Just, wake up as many people as possible. It's not easy to wake people up. They've got to be ready themselves, Joan.
Yeah.
When Billy and David were doing all their stuff and watching all this on the internet, I thought they were cuckoo. They'd come and woke them up with the white coats and throw the key away and I'd never see them again. And then my pal's going to the park and feeding the birds and the swans and all that, and I'm like, oh, you've lost the plot. Then I'm at the bloody park, Graham.
And Graham's saying there, get liposomal vitamin C, Theresa. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory too. It's expensive the way. It's expensive unless you can make it yourself. So.
What do you mean unless I can make it myself? I can't even make a dinner. How the hell am I going to make that? Right, Graham, get it made for me. I'll collect it next week.
When we're doing a roadshow, we'll visit Belfast too. By car, also good for reducing inflation. But anyway, I hope you have a great rest up at Nairn and enjoy the beaches. Oh, the beaches up there, or they used to be.
Oh, no, it's lovely up there.
When I lived in Inverness, I
was saying to Phil the other day, there's that many as that are all single, and I says, we're going to have to get a minibus so that we can pick up all these single folk, because we're now up to 5 females and 1 male. Well, we'll get 2, we'll get 2 males, so Gary's not ready yet for letting Jackie join the Widows Club.
No, unless he gets to join too.
No, he can't get to join. He can come in the club.
It's just no coming to our spa days.
Just do the spa days that we've no had for ages that we were supposed to be doing.
Oh, we'll need to have another one. Talking of which, has anybody heard from Annie? Because I've not seen her on.
I've not seen Annie for ages.
I must give her a wee email.
I'm going for a massage on Monday.
He's saying we're a pair of sexists. Shut it, you're just a man. Oh, Annie was on 3 days ago, that's good.
Right, that's good.
Just when I don't see her for a while, I wonder if she's alright, No, we're not sexist at all, Gary, but
not at all.
Spa days are a wee bit different, We're not wanting you to come in your mankinis and that. It'd be embarrassing for you. It's you we're thinking of. Anyway, we're going to say goodnight, eh?
Aye, I think we will.
Have a fantastic time up at your brother-in-law's.
No bother, hen. Right, thanks everybody for listening. Speak to you next week. All the best. Thanks, Joan, for coming on. Brilliant.
You're very welcome.
And thanks, Phil and Bri for coming on and sharing your stories. Thankfully, Bri's situation's been sorted, and hopefully we can come on next week and tell you Phil's situation's been sorted, because it's always good if you're going to be bringing in the negative that you bring in the positive that goes with the negative. And if they do get up off their backsides and do something, then it's good.
Yeah, because they can share that with other people, and then other people are not so embarrassed and they get...
Yep.
He's still calling us sexist. But if we can share that with other people, then they can maybe, move beyond that embarrassment and stand their ground, because a lot of people
definitely
don't know how
that, I don't know if it's just in Scotland, but that embarrassment, you never told your neighbour. My mom used to be like, you don't let the strangers know you've got no money.
Aye.
My ma bought my pal a wedding present and never bought me one. Because she couldn't give herself for showing up. I knew she'd no money, but she didn't want my pal's family to know she'd no money. And my pal's like, she's like, I'm sorry, I feel embarrassed. My mother would never give MD, she couldn't give her in. I said, oh, that woman's been like that all her life. All her life, Joan, she don't let the neighbours know you're skint. I think the neighbours know you're skint more.
Isn't that sad that people put money above their own worth? You know, their own self-worth, and judge themselves by lack or, you know, whatever. We're all here for a reason.
But you know, Joan, I'm even like that myself. I'm going, oh no, don't, everybody's talking, people saying this and people saying that, and, you know, when Billy was here, he would go, well, what does it matter what people say? Stuff them. Talking about you, they're leaving somebody else. Like Elaine said, that's your problem. You worry too much about what other people think. You know?
And he was right.
Of course he was right, but I'm still the same. I'm still the same. I've still been saying it to Phil and Ian, and I'm saying, oh, but, and they're going, who cares?
My granny used to say to me, it's none of your business what other folk think of you. You know? And she's right. Because we can't change that. That's about their judgment. And if they can't, you know, if people can't see who I am, then that's an issue with them. It doesn't become mine anymore. I'm not saying it never did.
You were saying that to me the other night. That's your issue. It's not your issue.
Exactly.
That's their problem, not your problem, but you've taken on board for.
Just give them a tissue and get on with it.
Yeah, well, I was tiny tears last week, but I'm alright this week. Thanks for the thanks. Thank God.
Anyway, we better say good night.
Right, thanks everybody. Catch you soon. Take care. Till
good
next
night,
week.
everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Love, light and laughter. Daddy too.
Bye.
Also.
No, and more about gel coat. When the fourth round would...
Don't you call in the... More importantly, he knew what he was talking about.
Oh, does it look good already? Okay. Jumbo Scampi for limited...
All for a price that will make you...
Simpson, and you're listening to People for People Radio, the voice of truth in Scotland.